picks and bans. We might even see it banned away, in all honesty.
We may do. Might be a blue side one if Millenium don't want to have a first rotation Lee Sin, but Varus is gone as our first ban. So again, Rengar, LeBlanc, Camille still high priority. Neither of them have been banned yet.
No, Fiora is the first ban. You have got some time, you know, you don't have to ban it out on that first one. We have seen Camille left open as well, so there's always the possibility that will sneak through. Millennium banning out LeBlanc is a little bit strange because you can first pick it.
It's not a pretty style champion.
That's true.
Pretty likes his later game, more towards control mages. So taking that LeBlanc away, Rengar's gone as well. They didn't want to let Millennium first pick that one.
Yep. Getting rid of the Rengar. Expect to see perhaps a Shen ban, a Jace ban, maybe that Lee Sin as well. Jace in a very powerful position at the moment in that top lane, or even in mid.
Yeah, and has that flex potential as well, so you can always keep your opponents on their toes. Okay, so Camille is available.
Left open as well.
Not for the first time today, but you know we don't see it too often.
Yeah. It's an odd pick to be left open. We have seen Swain counter it incredibly well in game 1 of the day. Mimic could pick it up, but
they could Shen here,
yeah,
and that would deny the Camille, or not deny the Camille, but it makes the Camille matchup harder, and that's what Millennium have gone for. So now Kinguin have to pick the Rumble in first rotation if they're looking for a damage into tank matchup.
Okay, so the Rumble is what you think they might prioritize. Camille could still be picked. I think Tabasco seems to me the sort of jungler who would thrive on the Camille, could work around it quite a lot. Could be mid lane as well, although Sebex has tended to play a little bit safer with the Corki picks, you know, trying to be a little bit more of a long-range damage dealer for his team than someone who jumps all the way in.
And I like this because of the Varus, we've seen this constantly. You take the Jhin when the Varus is banned, so now that either means you have to pick your AD carry in this first rotation if you want the Sivir, the Caitlyn, or potentially have it banned. It depends where Millennium go with the rest of their picks. And Lulu, high priority here in Challenger today. This is game 3, and the third game that Lulu has made an appearance. Of course, there were a couple of buffs that came through for Lulu.
That there were, and actually D-Lord and Norskeren have been playing it quite a lot. Norskeren got it both games last week and did a great job on it. D-Lord really likes it as a pick as well, so I'm not too surprised to see it coming out. Also helps you counter things like Malzahar, of course, with the Whimsy. You can stop that Nethergrass coming down. But Lee Sin, the priority jungler here for Millennium, alongside that Caitlyn once again for Pinoy.
And a lot of this is just to do with the pacing of the draft now. With so many junglers banned out already, Millennium forcing Kinguin either to take the Kha'Zix here or kind of ban away the Graves, the Kha'Zix. Maybe we're looking at that on the next rotation in ban phase 2. So that Caitlyn was in a similar spot. We talked about how you'd ban away the Sivir. Oh, and it's the Rumble. That's the thing, is they either lose a jungle matchup or the top lane matchup.
Yeah.
And of course, Rumble can flex. We did see Giants flexing that. I think G2 played it once or twice as well. We know Xerxes from Unicorns have played it.
We've seen it quite a lot in times gone by, not so much recently, but still has been played a few times. I don't think it will flex, although it depends how Millennium structure their ban strategy now. If they ban out the Graves, as you were saying, and the Kha'Zix, maybe we will see that Rumble then going to the jungle and we'll see a different top lane pick.
Okay, it's mid lane. Mid lane is where Kinguin are putting their focus on. Of course, we've got the top lane and jungle locked in. It's not support that they're banning away, so that Karma is still available. Whether Kinguin... I mean, Kinguin have already got the Lulu for their support pick, so it wouldn't be a Karma pick coming out from them.
The Talia ban does work out quite well, because if you've got the Shen, if you've got the Lee Sin, that early-ish tower dive in bottom lane is quite strong, and then you put the Weaver's Wall on top of that, it just allows you to roam a little bit quicker. Camille ban coming out from Millennium, so they're finally taking her off the cards. And
that's an interesting one, because you would assume that top lane has already been picked up, which means that Millennium are afraid of Kinguin picking Camille in pick 1 of phase 2, and then flexing it through either jungle or mid lane. And that would mean they could kind of pivot at the last pick. So Millennium don't want to be in a situation where Kinguin have that strength in the draft.
That is going to be the Rise ban finally from Kinguin. So they have focused down on towards that mid lane. Cassiopeia still open though for Pretty if he wants it. Orianna still available. There's a lot of flexibility in that mid lane, and Kinguin haven't picked their mid laner for Sebex either. Maybe looking towards the Corki, which he has played quite a bit.
Could do. We might see the Corki come out from it. Of course, the Orianna still available. There's a lot still up. Syndra now not available, so if they were to go blind pick mid lane and then flex that Rumble around, we may see the Corki, may see the Orianna. There's two of the matchups that are a little bit safer. Cassiopeia as well, you mentioned.
Millennium have quite a safe composition already, in all honesty. Caitlyn, very long range, you know, Shen pretty safe in that top lane unless he plays into the Rumble, which is that damage matchup you were talking about. The rest of their team, you know, you've got Karma still available. It looks like it's going to be the Corki pick for Sebex, but Karma's still there. Safe mid laners as well.
And at this point, we've also got to look at Millenium's support pick here as well. Tom Kench is still available if they want to go for that safety and global presence with alongside the Shen. If they're looking for push potential, they can go for the Karma themselves, get Caitlyn Karma. Go for something fairly aggressive. So for Millenium, they have a lot of options. There's the Cassiopeia you were talking about, into the Corki. Ooh, and it was neither of the supports. Huh. Nami into the Lulu, sustain, crowd control.
It makes sense. It also gives you some more crowd control for the team as well. You've got Petrifying Gaze and the taunt and then kicks from the Lee Sin, but with the ultimate, you can lock out the Jhin a bit better. So it's something we do see into Jhins quite often, but you're still getting probably 2 or 3 shots down before that ultimate comes out. And it is going to be eventually the Kha'Zix, so Rumble top, Kha'Zix in the jungle.
That makes a lot of sense. The other utilization of that ultimate is just disengage as well in that mid lane when you're looking to set up. It's not strictly a 1-3-1, but we see a lot of times that Cassiopeia go over to the side lane, push the wave out. Shen does obviously his thing over in the other side of the map, so it's not strictly 1-3-1 out of Millenium. But still, it's a good setup, good ability to deny a couple of fights. Kinguin, on the other hand, have a lot of team fighting potential. You've got the Rumble, you've got the Corki to poke around in team fights as well, Kha'Zix to get kills, and Lulu to keep everybody alive. So a lot of utilization together for Kinguin from their composition.
It just suits the style of play we see from them as well. They're much more about, in inverted commas, chaos style. They like fights. They like to play around team fights. I know it's not a phrase a lot of people like, but they like to have these heavy action-orientated games where there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of skirmishing, and they're trying to catch people out.
They do like to try and catch people out. You're right. I just don't like that term.
I know, because it's not, the reason you don't like the term is it's not chaotic. They have a plan and they're understanding what they're doing in it. It just can look chaotic to the outside viewer.
It used to be that when people said that, it was just that the Unicorns didn't have any strategy, but in flash forward to 2017, they do have a little bit more and they're very good at it. In this setup, though, for Kinguin, I like it. I like what they've got. You can move up to a tower. There's so much threat of sieging. You got Jhin, you got Corki, you got Rumble. All of these champions very good at pushing people back away from towers and looking to push them down.
You do still have the Caitlyn and the Nami there, though, so that's pretty safe. Cassio clears waves relatively easily with the Miasma, and Shen's pretty safe underneath tower as well. So there's a bit of anti-siege coming out from Millenium. If you do want to get involved, guys, make sure you tweet at us using the hashtag EUCS. If you think Millenium are going to win, hashtag MILWin. If you think Kinguin are going to win, hashtag KGN win. We're onto the Summoner's Rift for the first game between Millenium and Team Kinguin of today.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this series. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than our last one. I guess it couldn't be too much more one-sided than that game 2. That was a blink and you missed it style of game. If you're only just joining us, Schalke just destroyed Fnatic Academy. But Millenium, Kinguin should theoretically be on a little bit more even of a playing field.
That they should. And I'm looking forward to see how Millenium play this, because their game 1 last week was very clean. It was very crisp. They perfect gamed. They knew exactly what they were doing. Game 2 was a little bit more bloody. There was a few more kills here and there, but still pretty good macro. Kinguin tend to rely more on the skirmishing style, so early push, early presence in the river, trying to get those objectives, especially with Tabasco having that Kha'Zix very good at taking down the dragon early on.
So interesting things starting out on this one. Mimic going for the 3 rejuvenation bead start. Obviously based around sustain in lane and short trades rather than, you know, all-inning. Doesn't really give him a lot of strength in that facet. So has to be careful with Ice Beasto and that Flame Spitter hovering around. Can't take too much damage. Will need to wait. It is difficult for Shen, though, against Rumble just in general. Rumble into tanks does a good job in the laning phase of pushing, of dealing damage, harassing. We've got top laners starting with their junglers right now. Of course, it's just going to be a little bit of a pull. And both junglers will be on that bot side around 3 minutes.
I think there's always a risk for Millenium. They tend to like to stall out their games a little bit longer.
Tabasco is dropping incredibly low.
That's fine, though.
I mean, he will, with Void Spikes, heal back up, but compare his health to Steel. Like, off that Raptor start, there's a lot more health than he expected to lose.
So why does Tabasco go for the Raptor start? Is it looking again for the jungle steal that we saw in the last game?
Well, he's looking like he's ending up on potentially a very early topside with Smite plus the health from Red, he will be okay. He may be looking to try and pressure out with this Rumble top side, rather than starting up and then going down through the jungle to bot side, which is what Steel is doing. Of course, this means he's slower to his second buff. Mimic is getting shoved in anyway, though, so there's no real attempt here.
Yeah, with that shove, you can't really do too much. Pinoy being aggressive here. The sustain from Norscarin. Deadly Flourish comes down. The heal, exhaust. Woolite's low, but he has got that heal. Pinoy has to flash away. D-Lord flashes for the kill. One more auto would be enough. Can he get it? Can't quite get there. And now Woolite has to flash away, but he'll fall. Norscarin gets the kill. D-Lord looking for Pinoy, and Pinoy will say, not today, my friend. Steel comes in and gets 2 kills in the bottom lane.
Steel with a near perfect start for himself. Comes down, gets the kill, gets the assist. And Millenium turned that back around. I think DeLord actually cancelled the animation of that auto attack that would have killed Pinoy. It looked like it as he stepped forward and moved back. That couldn't have gone much better for Millenium. And Tabasco had to recall. I don't even think Tabasco finished Krugs by the looks of it. Krugs is still alive, and he did start that camp. Yeah, he didn't kill both of them. So Tabasco look on the top side all the way up. Let's watch this again. Pinoy didn't quite get the traps down on Woolite, and good stun came through. Exhaust through the first couple of autos. DeLord, does he cancel the animation? Oh, it was about to fire. The projectile hadn't fired out yet, and DeLord stepped because he didn't want to go under the tower. Steel comes down for the assist. Great start, Millenium.
And it comes back to the fact Tabasco wasn't able to be there because he had such a slow start on that top side jungle. Had to go back because he went so low. Didn't finish the Krugs. Didn't really get much out of it. And Steel was quick to react. When that fight started, he was just finishing up his red. And then immediately he's like, no, I need to be bot lane. Let's go. Let's kill this. Let's see what we can do in that bot lane.
Yeah, that's a horrific start for Kinguin. It looked to be a good trade onto Pinoy and Norscarin. Good stun from Woolite. And the exhaust timing through the first couple of autos was okay, but obviously you want to try and get as much damage reduced as you can. That fourth shot is the deadly one in lane, but Woolite falling prey to Steel and Norscarin, helping out with Pinoy in that bottom lane.
And now Millenium just get exactly what they want. They can delay this game for as long as they want. They've got the advantage. There's no summoners in that bottom lane for Kinguin, so they have to be incredibly careful. And Woolite's going to get locked up once again. Pinoy puts the traps down, and Woolite's just dead. And D-Lord just can't do anything about it. This Lulu priority is not working out for them.
Really not working out for them. It's not just the Lulu there. I mean, Woolite pushed up in the lane, got caught, stepped on a trap, bubble comes through, trap instantly on top of it. Oh, you cannot do this against Caitlyn Nami.
He will survive with a help pick shield, just about keeps himself alive, but the CC chain.
Here comes Steel.
I think D-Lord's realised he needs to back all the way off. He's gone back to his second turret, but this gives Steel the opportunity to get some aggressive vision control. Ward on the Wolves there, and Tabasco really has had no impact in this early game compared to Steel.
He's done nothing yet in this game. He's been farming up, trying to compensate for his own rough start. I mean, the first kills in this game didn't necessarily put the lane out of reach for Woolite and DeLord. It was good start for Millenium, but they had got the back for Woolite, got 2 long swords. There was no pickaxe initially for Pinoy because it wasn't Pinoy that got the kills. But just that next mistake, walking into lane, getting caught by the CC chain, has completely done away with everything that Kinguin had to work with in the bottom lane.
One of the worries we had in Picks and Bans was whether Millenium would be able to play as clean, as polished as they did last week. Well, at the moment they're playing pretty darn well, understanding exactly when they can take these advantages. And Woolite and D-Lord just have no answer.
You can see though the fans still behind Kinguin, and that tends to happen. Oh.
Here comes Steel, dodges. The heal does come out as well. Norscarin's going to get caught up in the deadly flourish, but they just can't go too far because they know Pinoy's still got heal, and they know Steel is just around the corner.
Yep, as Steel wasn't quite able to get in there for a kill. The Polish fans, as Kinguin are a full Polish lineup, the Polish fans are very enthusiastic, always supporting any team with a majority or even a few Polish players, with a lot of respect to them. You can see reflected in the fan vote.
That you can. Not reflected in the way the game's going at the moment. Kinguin need to channel some of that fan energy if they're going to be able to get back into this one. Already 2,000 gold behind, only 7 minutes in. Pinoy walks forward once again. There's the heal. They're trying to trade into Woolite.
It's a lot of disrespect from Pinoy at the same time. Knowing they're able to trade with the sustain from Nami, you can see they're both burned through all of their mana pool right now. The roam attempt was nearly there from Sebex. Pinoy is just going to try and box Woolite in.
Has to flash away. Does get the Deadly Flourish down. Here's the Stand United, though. They just got so much to protect Pinoy. Mimic goes for the taunt. Flash away. Here's the Equalizer. Ice Beastow's going to try and burn Pinoy down. Takes him. Norscarin has to flash. Mimic now caught off towards the side. Sebex can't land the rockets, but Ice Beastow gets the double. Mimic flashes away. They're going to exhaust. They're going to dive. They're going to take out the Shen. Millennium pay for their over-aggression and lose 3 kills.
A lot of disrespect from both sides on this bottom lane here. Pinoy and Norscarin take a fight, thinking that they can easily close in on Woolite and Delord. They had the Stand United available, but of course teleport from Ice Beastow was up as well. We hadn't seen anything from the top laners in a little while, and this should have been a kill onto Woolite, but Pinoy gets exhausted, gets stunned down in place, and they don't respect that Rumble is coming. It's as if they're not even looking at what's happening behind them there. Ice Beastow comes in for the double kill. And then there's a disrespect from Kinguin after this to just go under the tower and try and kill Mimic. Of course they want to get the most from this, but Ice Beastow tanking the tower could have just exited that, gone left out of the tower, just dropped the aggro and gone the long way around. They didn't really know where Steel and Pretty were, but this numbers advantage was still in their favor. This has been a scrappy game. Not a great, clean game from either team so far.
As soon as I say, I think it's pretty clean from Millennium. They go and do that. They've just taken the scrubbed, polished floors they had and just trodden dirt all across them. But Kinguin will be happy with that. Gets them back inside that 1,000 gold mark. And Pinoy still trying to trade in here. Gone for those Zerka Greaves first. Does have level 6 as well, so they've got that ultimate advantage for the next couple of minutes or so.
Pinoy needs to calm it down a little. He's got the lane advantage, but he's only got a pickaxe and Berserker's Greaves. This isn't like he's dominating the lane to the point where every single time he autos, he's taking half their health off. And he's up against Serrated Dirk and the Longsword. Heal is available for Woolite. They have to play this out. If the crowd control lands and they get the trap chain, that's when you go aggressive. But don't just push up and try and look for anything you can at any moment. You're going to get caught.
And even though we saw that bloodbath in bottom lane, Tabasco still yet to have an impact on this game. No kills, no assists. Just been farming up in his jungle after that weak early start. He's looking for something down towards bottom side. There's a control ward. Here they go. The heal moves them away. Norscarin with a good dodge. There's the curtain call. Dodges once again. And Woolite actually needs to be careful on the turnaround. The Tidecaller's Blessing slowing him down. Pinoy can't quite get close enough. Pretty came down for the romance, did Sebex, but looks like it's just going to be Millennium going for the tower.
Steel is kind of thinking about it, but he has been tracked on wards here. Millennium are going to push for the tower here. Steel is a threat around the side.
Woolite's so low as well. The kick comes in. Tabasco knocked back Miasma. Wild Growth used as well because Mimic came in with a teleport. Of course, no teleport for Ice Beastow. Petrifying Gaze dodged out by Sebex, and now Millennium retreat. Maybe an overstay because the Void Assault from Tabasco. He wants blood. He wants a kill. He wants to have an impact on the game. First tower blood goes down, though, for Millennium.
And it's all from the fact that Kinguin don't have that teleport. In the first play, it was Stand United that was used from Millennium and answered by the TP from Ice Beastow. But this time, Ice Beastow was trying to run down from the top lane. Could not even get past mid lane by the time that fight had completely timed out. So Millennium, it was good that they push forward, get the tower, and pull back away now. I want to see what they do next. Do they put the bot lane back bot side to just defend, or do they go from top side? Is one of the areas I think would be a useful play for Millennium. Just defer some of this. Oh, they're going to go for the dive.
Not even a dive because there's no tower there.
Yeah, I realized then they're punishing Woolite. No kick available, but Steel might just want to 1v2.
No flash available either. Steel gets one, looking for D-Lord as the second. He hasn't got the flash. Steel just keeps on chasing Lulu. Whimsy's her way away, but if the Sonic Wave lands, you have to think D-Lord said, flash in. Steel knocks him out anyway.
Steel doesn't care. Chooses the flash. Maybe could have ward jumped to the ward instead. I didn't know whether the cooldown was available, but Woolite and Delord, why are you pushing up like that with no tower? This is a game of disrespect so far. This is a game of unforced errors, disrespectful plays, and both teams right now just don't look settled.
Millenium taking the advantage though. They may be unsettled, but they are 3,000 gold ahead and have an Ocean Drake to their names along with that first Tower Blood. This is, again, you said it when it was happening, Woolite and D-Lord just overextending.
Why are you there with no tower? Like, you haven't seen the duo topside, so you don't know they're pushing on for top tower. You haven't seen the jungler. Mid lane is even missing. Like, why are you there? That's just a really frustrating error. You can stay back. I can understand once you see them topside, you then have to react. But honestly, what are you going to do on that bot side from Woolite and D-Lord?
Credit to Steel though, good smite into Sonic Wave to land that shot to make sure there was no way Woolite could get away. The flash was just coming off cooldown, so maybe didn't have the exact timer on that, meaning that he was thinking maybe he'll flash away and try to stop that. We see Millenium doing exactly what they did last week as well. Put Pinoy in that mid lane, he's safe, he can siege up. Even if you try and get onto him, you've got the Nami there to protect him, you've got the Stand United there to protect him, and now all they have to do is wait a little bit, probably until about the 20-minute mark, get a couple of items on that Caitlyn, and they'll be unstoppable.
So the one thing that is okay for Kinguin is the fact that Ice Beasto does have a significant lead. A significant farm lead up against Mimic, has 2 kills as well. A lot of this comes from the fact that Mimic has spent a lot of time out of the lane. Ice Beasto pushed out top, then pushed out mid, went back top, pushed out top again, pushed down the tower, and finally got something from it. So Ice Beasto's kind of the one man in this game that is holding Kinguin together.
Before this game, we were praising Tabasco. We were saying how much impact he has for Kinguin. He's currently 1,500 gold behind his enemy laner, and he's still 0-0-0 in a game where there've been 9 kills or like 9 kills across the 2 teams.
And so much of it was just that ripple effect from the start where he just took damage. I wonder whether Tabasco has the correct and full setup of runes for Kha'Zix. Like, I know Kha'Zix doesn't clear that effectively early on, but especially even with a Rumble Hell.
But Razorbeaks is really difficult for Kha'Zix.
Because you've got 6 things in front of you.
Exactly. There's no isolation for you. Those tiny chickens do a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, because when they all add up together, they're doing as much or just about more than the big one as well. So until you clear all of them down,
pecking away at you.
Yeah.
And flying beats bug, so it's a type advantage as well. It's super effective.
It is.
Although I've never seen the Razorbeaks fly. Just
That's
have
a
them
good question.
fly across the map every now and again.
There are a lot of flightless birds.
That's
though,
true.
Right?
That's true.
There's at least a few.
Ostrich.
Yeah.
Are we going to go through? No, we're not going to go through flightless
We're not
birds.
National Geographic, okay? We don't need to go.
We
can't do a David Adams. Yeah.
Planet Summoner's Rift. Runeterra. Planet Runeterra.
There's a cease and desist coming in the mail already.
The thing is, like Kinguin, they had that advantage. They gained on towards the Rumble. He is, as you say, so far ahead in CS. Has that Leandri's Torment already completed, so he's burning through Mimic. A couple of times they've just overstepped slightly, and actually, Woolite, who was one of the experienced players on the team, has kind of let his top laner down to some degree by giving these kills across to the enemy team. Yeah,
it really are a lot of unforced errors from the Kinguin bot lane. Ice Beasto's coming into the mid lane looking to try and get anything. Deterring the push is the main thing here. He shoves that top lane, comes across, puts some vision control through the jungle, and Kinguin looking to try and at least secure the top half of the map for themselves. And that's a good basis to play off, but it's difficult to offset just how strong this Lee Sin is already. Of course, Lee Sin, if he doesn't continue to snowball, does have reduced impact later on in the game, but certainly a 3-0-1 start is not reduced impact right now.
Not at all. We actually saw Millenium play a very similar composition last week into Fnatic Academy. Fnatic Academy had the Rumble, had the Jhin, had this long-range engage, but every time they tried to pull the trigger, they weren't able to get on towards Pinoy, because he was just safe. They did have the Lulu on Millenium's side there, so they had the Wild Growth, which gives you a little bit more freedom. Pinoy's going to get caught out. Here's the heal. Tidal Wave comes in, trying to catch out the Jhin, does knock him up.
Gets him.
And this is what they can do. Like, as long as Pinoy doesn't die immediately, you've got sustain from the Nami, you've got the Stand United shield, and you've got the ability to knock Jhin out of his ultimate. It's very difficult for Kinguin to actually get onto any of the Millenium members and take them out.
And that's the second or third time that instantly, as soon as the curtain call is opened up, the tidal wave rushes through and gently nudges him out of his encore performance, but there hasn't been too much to give a standing ovation about from Woolite in this game.
No, not at all. I'm still confused as to why it's called the tidal wave, because the tsunami just makes so much more sense to me. It's like the box should be called the threshold.
Threshold? Oh, well. Yeah, I never heard that one before.
As a Thresh main, I spent many hours playing him and thinking of different names. But Millenium going to look for the top lane tower here. Will be their second of the game if they get it. Sebek's coming to defend. Millenium have played this mid-game, well, 10 to 20 minutes. They tend to play quite slow and methodical and just say, we'll get chip damage, we'll get a little bit here and there. We don't really care if we don't get too much because we've got the Caitlyn, we've got the Cassia, we've got that late game power that we saw from them last week.
Sebek has to be careful there's no ult flash in top lane, as Millenium is still pushing down in the bottom lane. Sebek is alone, and Steel is here. There's enough damage to take him out quickly.
Kick, Stand United in. Sonic Wave used as well, but the TP deters the aggression for now. Ice Beast, though, puts down the equalizer, but Sebek doesn't want the fight. The rest of Kinguin are coming up. They lose the tower, but here they come on towards Millenium. It's only Woolite leaving himself. Sebek's off towards the side. Here's Mimic. He goes low. Tabasco jumps in, jumps onto Steel. Can't quite get him down. Mimic escaping as well. Millenium may be able to get everyone out alive somehow. Ice Beasto sped up, though. Here's the tidal wave to try and slow them. Only
Steel's
catches
dead.
D-Lord. Steel is the sacrifice for the team. Millenium lose one, but get the tower.
It was a better equalizer than I first gave it credit for. There was a lot of burn damage that came down onto those Millenium members. Steel ended up dying. They got the tower from underneath the fight, but Pinoy could not get the mid tower at the same time. There was enough defense there from Woolite, and Millenium a little bit down on the kills in that exchange, but honestly, getting the tower is the major prize that they get from that.
And they scale so much better. Losing one kill isn't too much of a big deal. So we see the engage here by Steel.
Great exhaust. Otherwise, I think Sebek would have been dead here. So at first, I was anticipating this equalizer going across all three. Pinoy could be in trouble
He's
here.
overextended here, even with Norscaven. I'm not sure he survives. Tabasco takes him down, and now Norscaven finds him in the midst of three. Kinguin going for the dive, going for the kill. Tabasco gets a double.
Why are you flashing in a line? You gotta flash out of the way of that Woolite with a good catch. With Jin, and Tabasco finally is making his impact felt on this game. Millenium behind the curve on holding this mid lane. They're going to lose this mid lane tower in response.
That they are. Kinguin starting to pull the trigger on a few of these fights and catching Millenium unawares. We were praising Millenium's ability just to stall out the game until the 20-minute mark. Well, Kinguin saying, not today, my friends. We're going to be able to catch you out. Looks like they'll get the Ocean Drake here as well. Steel jumps in. Steel jumps out. Would have been a flashy steal from Steel if he'd got it.
That would have been great. Did he have his Q not available? A lot of the time you'll see Lee Sin try and go in with that from the extra damage that you have on the second half. So Pinoy flashes in a line. The cast indicator had already shown up. And that's a little bit of an oopsie now from Pinoy and Norscaven. Couldn't do enough to keep himself alive either.
The thing is,
pushed through.
Being there is a bit of an oopsie as well, because you've got vision all up in the red side jungle here that you can see Millenium placing once again. You've got a little bit of vision in the blue side jungle. Where else is Tabasco going to be? You know he's not top, you know he's not bot.
Yeah.
Shouldn't really be that far pushed up. Pinoy will take the critical. Gets 3 shots out this time, so it's 1 better than last. But they do lose the tower anyway. Millenium.
Just rushing to try and fire that 4th shot. Just shoot it at anyone.
One of these days we might see it come down. Not sure about the cooldown. I think, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Tidal Wave is slightly short of a cooldown. Woolite takes a lot of pain here. We'll get forced back by Pinoy. That's the damage that you take from stepping on a trap. D-Lord realizes the damage you take from Pretty as he just takes him out with the Petrifying Gates.
Yeah, you are correct on the cooldowns. 90 seconds currently on the Tidal Wave cooldown. 108 seconds on Curtain Call, both at rank 1. So to be expected that every time it's available, through comes the Tidal Wave. Washes it all away.
Cleaning up those dirty footprints that we had from Millenium earlier on.
I don't know whether that's the best way of cleaning it up. Just throw a lot of dirty water through.
That's what I've been doing wrong. That's why my kitchen's a mess. I throw dirty water on the problem, but
supposedly that is, this is really random, supposedly that is the way that you're meant to mop, is you pour the water on the floor
and then
mop.
And then, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, Millenium are doing a 21-minute Baron.
And Tabasco might get a bit of an inkling, puts the ward down. Millenium immediately disengage. They realize they don't want that. Steel eats some honey fruit for himself to get himself back up to full HP, but Millenium just testing the waters, trying to understand exactly how much Kinguin know about what's going on the map, because at the moment they don't actually know the Baron's not being done because of the way the wards work. Control ward there, they will clear it out.
They just don't quite have vision on it, and it gets replaced, I think. It's a bit of a weird game here between Kinguin and Millenium. There's a lot of those early mistakes have slowed down both teams. Millenium just overextending a couple of times really hindered what they were trying to do here. Icebeasto still has a significant lead, is maybe the saving grace for Kinguin, has been over the last 10 minutes, is he really has started showing up a bit more in these fights.
Rumble, great in team fights, of course. And split pushing into a Shen who hasn't got a Titanic Hydra is pretty good as well. He's only got Sunfire Cape and that Spirit Visage, sitting on the final remaining of the Tri-Beads that you have at the start of the game. Just has one.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. The one item that you build from the beads is the Tiamat into...
Just hasn't needed it. He hasn't needed it, though. He's never been pressured enough in that lane to have to actually do anything about it. So.
I know what it is. He just wants the Spirit Visage, the healing, to... That's the whole reason he's bought Spirit Visage, is just to enhance the healing of the one bead.
Here comes the Equalizer. He needs to enhance his healing quite a bit. He's already half HP. Kinguin fighting off towards the other side of the map as well. Pinoy caught out once again, and he's dead. The Tidal Wave comes onto Tabasco. Norscaven locked up with the Deadly Flourish, and here comes the damage from the rest of Kinguin. Mimic's so low because of how much Icebeasto took him down. Sebix kills Norscaven, and Kinguin take 2 kills. They're looking for more. Steel trying to flank.
Steel does not want to go in here 1 versus 5. Pretty is around, but I don't think this is the type of fight that you really want to take now. Kinguin, they've started off the Baron. Shen is about to TP in, and it denies Kinguin.
Yeah, just force him off. That's exactly what Millenium needed to do. We've seen them start a Baron and be dissuaded from it. Now we've seen Kinguin do the same. However, Kinguin have 2 kills under their belt, and they have mid-priority now as all 5 members try and go for that tower.
Yeah, Millenium cannot do anything about this. Mimic is pretty much on his own. Pinoy is here too. Mimic dives in.
Jumps away as well. Here's Icebeasto going low. Pinoy, though, has a lot of damage and still looking for the flank. Woolite down to half HP. Pretty with the flank. The petrifying gaze onto all of Kinguin, and they're going to be mopped up in a heartbeat. Pretty chasing off Sebix. Tabasco off towards the other side. 3 kills already for Millenium in this fight. And perhaps we'll finally see that Baron call go.
Yeah, now it's Millenium that are going to move over to the Baron with 3 members of Kinguin dead. Kinguin just stuck around for too long. They tried to push mid through, got the tower. Mimic just in time goes through to delay Kinguin. Norscaren's going to try and fight back Tabasco so that he can't look to jump in for the Baron.
Just slows him up with that Tidecaller's Blessing, and Tabasco's realized he's not going to get there. Millenium get the Baron 25 minutes in. Secure themselves a 3,000 gold lead as well.
Beautiful flank. Beautiful flank from Pretty comes around to end this fight. You can see Kinguin took a lot of damage. Icebeasto forced to flash, as did Woolite after taking a lot of damage, and then flash into the ult to cut them off. Even through the exhaust, Pretty and Pinoy just able to clean up 3.
3 members of Kinguin actually dodged that ult, and they still lost. It's like when more than half your team dodges a petrifying gaze and you still lose the fight, it shows perhaps you were a step too far forward. Yeah,
the problem is it just keeps them in place. Even if the CC doesn't hit there, the Caitlyn catches up. You get the Hurricane hits all the way through that team fight, and it's pretty easy to take down the health bars once they're funneled into a small area.
But he's really been stepping up recently as well. He's been in the Challenger Series for a long time and always been consistent, if not brilliant. The last couple of weeks, he's really started to be a standout performer on this Millenium lineup. And you can see the draft as well. It's focused around keeping him and Pinoy alive and allowing them to have these massive performances.
And that's the thing when you look at the rest of the former Millenium lineup. Hans Sama now on Misfits. Joko been playing with Vitality. Pretty kind of got left behind the rest of the Millenium Challenger team that we were initially impressed with all the way back last spring. Maybe trying to make a name for himself here.
He's doing a good job of it.
He started playing a little bit better. Doesn't really have the Anivia that he was playing in most games back last year. But Woolite steps on another trap.
it's so much damage as soon as you do it. And this is the siege potential we were talking about in picks and bans. You know, Millenium set up in front of a turret. They set up a 1-3-1. Mimic doesn't really care that he's 80 CS behind, but Pretty might care that Tabasco is on the flank here.
Steel's coming around though, as he was spotted on a control ward. So Steel now pulls back to the mid lane. A little bit of an umming and ahhing situation for Kinguin here, trying to think about whether they want to go top lane. Millenium are going to beat them up to the top lane, and Tabasco Trap is kind of going to deny an easy path through up to the top side.
The rest of Kinguin have come around though. Steel's now going to spot out Tabasco. Steel is ahead by about an item at the moment, so should be able to win out that trade. Tabasco backs away, and now they have a man disadvantage up here, which means that Millenium are able just to continue to batter away at this tower. Yeah,
Millenium have the overlap here in top, as Tabasco forced the long way around, but Steel was still trying to look for him. Millenium only have this one cannon minion, and there you go, ult for ult once again.
Redemption used as well to bring them all back up to full HP, and with this next Baron wave, they'll take the tower down. Millenium just systematically destroying the defenses of Kinguin.
They absolutely are. With this Baron buff, last few moments of this buff active, Sebex, nearly caught.
Yeah, the Caliber net didn't quite connect. If that had hit, I think the headshot would have been enough to kill Sebex, but he escapes to fight another day. Millenium have that inhibitor tower down to half now, and this is one of the weaknesses I've seen so far from Icebeasto. You know, he got ahead on this Rumble, and yeah, he's miles ahead in CS, but he's never threatened Mimic. He's never forced him low enough that Kinguin have been able to do something about it. Now Sebex has the miasma down to Basco low. Pinoy just going for the turret once again.
And it's very difficult because Icebeasto has to try and teleport out of this situation in bot lane. Yes, he is still kind of contending with Mimic fairly well, but Icebeasto has to get the teleport out, not get it denied by a taunt, and then answer to a Stand United coming through from Shen into any fight. So Millenium just have the stronger side lane. They're more easily able to regroup and fight than Icebeasto can if he's got that Shen in front of him.
In picks and bans as well, we saw Talia banned, we saw Ryze banned. Mimic has been very comfortable on this Cassiopeia. Perhaps Kinguin didn't respect it as much as they should have done, because the wave clue is immense. The ability to 1-3-1 is incredibly strong, and it's a pretty comfort pick.
It is. It is, and Pretty's look good on it. Mimic on the Shen has looked decent as well. Yes, he is far down. A lot of people will wonder why I'm saying he seems decent when he's nearly 100 CS down. Part of that is the matchup. Part of that is the fact that Icebeasto got 3 kills fairly early on. But like Mimic's usage of Stand United was at least on time on a lot of the plays that were made. Not the best game. I don't think he'll be too happy in the game as he's far behind. But he's done enough in this job.
He's done his job. He has done his job in this team composition. That's all you have to do sometimes. It might not be the most enjoyable thing when you're 1-1-1 and just split pushing a lane for ages, but he's done exactly what the team needed him to do. And now Millenium, 6,000 gold ahead, 10 kills to 8 up with a double Ocean Drake under their belts and double the towers of Kinguin as well. Now they're looking down towards this bottom lane. Interesting decision considering there's an inhibitor without a tower up at the top side. Sebex is low, there's the miasma coming down. Noskaren unable to land the Aqua Prism. As you said, Tabasco's not here, Icebeasto is, and Mimic is split pushing mid at the moment.
Yeah, now Mimic goes to push that out. Millenium are a man down. Pinoy has to be careful. Pretty kind of covers for him, throws out that miasma to make sure that they cannot push onto it. Now, Tabasco, second thoughts on defending mid tower from him as Icebeasto's gone over there. And Millenium, they're just going to try and push through this bot tower, trying to get it constantly just pushing on. Not really having a massive amount of success, but slowly but surely trying to get one more objective before the Baron spawn in 1 minute.
That's all they have to do, though. Actually, Steel cut off slightly towards the side here, but Kinguin unable to pull the trigger once again. And this is something we've seen a lot of the time against Millenium, against Fnatic last week here in a very similar situation. Fnatic time after time tried to get the connection of ultimates they needed, and earlier on in this game we did see Pinoy getting caught out from time to time, but now he's very safe. He's very secure in that backline, very happy just to stand back, has a Maw of Malmortius alongside his Infinity Edge and Runans. And that Caitlyn is starting to approach 6 items.
Yeah, well,
Well, he's on 4.
Look at that 4 items
and
spike.
has an elixir of wrath.
Yeah, we're nearly there. You just got some minor items around the edge. It's okay. 6 things there right now.
That's 6 items.
Yeah, that counts.
That's how it works.
But honestly, that 4 item spike that you're alluding to now is the point at where Caitlyn kind of takes over. More Mortius clearly to deal with Ice Beastow's equalizer that comes through, trying to just survive through some of the magic damage. Fairly heavy magic damage. You got the Lulu, you've got the Corki coming through, you got the Rumble. So it's you know, it's a good pickup.
Yeah. And we see also the Tiamat finally finished on Mimic, so he's going to be able to push back into Ice Beastow a little bit. Rumble spikes incredibly well in the mid game. Sometimes later game doesn't have the impact that you would like. Same can be said of Corki to some degree. And now Millenium just trying to garner vision in this red side jungle as they set up for the Baron. They have a free inhibitor, or an open inhibitor, in that top lane, so it's not too dangerous for them to be around there because they've denied so much vision that you get from having your towers up.
And you can see now, Ice Beastow, he recalled back to base, just pick up a few more items, finishes the Abyssal Scepter for himself, heads back out onto the Rift. It's a very slow last 5 minutes of this game from Millenium and Kinguin. Millenium just trying to push anything they can. They're going to have to try and bait Kinguin.
Tabasco face checks a little bit. Deadly Flourish comes down. Pretty once again looking for the flank, but Kinguin are aware it's happening. And they do just retreat for now.
Millenium trying to call Kinguin's bluff there, keeping Mimic down on the bottom side. Didn't force him to TP out quickly. And certainly trying to just whittle it down. Here's the 2-man attempt.
It's so quick as well. Pretty has so much damage
here.
from Cassio. Twin Fangs out as well. No idea this is happening yet. Oh, that rocket just wasn't quite long enough. Deadly Flourish comes out. Now they'll know. They're going to look for it. There's the Phosphorus Bomb, but there's no smite around, even with the Curtain Call. Millenium secure the Baron, and immediately we see the Curtain Call stop. But Pinoy perhaps overextended slightly. Tabasco jumps in, can't quite get around and has to dodge the cupcakes. Pinoy flashes forward, doesn't have red though, doesn't have the slow. Here comes the equalizer, here come Millenium. Pretty off towards the side, 1 kill already in favor of Kinguin. Ice Beastow burning through Pinoy, but Ice Beastow can't get the kill, and now Kinguin run for the hills away from Millenium. Tabasco retreating, Sebex low as well as Mimic continues the chase. Woolite and Tabasco running towards the wrong side of the map. Millenium continuing just to chase them down. Pinoy wants the kill, he'll take down Woolite. D-Lord is getting chased off towards the side as well. Mimic doesn't want kills, he just wants towers, he wants those objectives.
Now that they've got the Baron, that pretty much spells the end of this one. Millenium going to continue to push through, they're going to break probably the 2 inhibitors here as they'll swing up to the top side as well. Millenium, it's not been the cleanest of games from them, but Kinguin, they've given them a fight. Millenium finally found enough to come out on top.
That they have. They've regularly won with this strategy though, so you have to wonder, Kinguin in the next pick ban, maybe take away the Cassio, maybe take away the Caitlyn, maybe just take away some of these power picks. They are forced off the inhibitor, as you say. Pinoy and Norscawen were very low, Norscawen without any mana as well. And this is smart decision-making from Millenium, deciding they don't need to greed for that extra objective.
Yeah, just use that empowered recall, get back out onto the Rift, and this was the fight after the Baron. Steel goes in aggressively, finds out why damaged Lee Sin, ends up dying very quickly. Pinoy, good little play there with Norscawen to take down Ice Beastow, and once that damage is gone, there's not a whole lot of damage left for Kinguin, and Millenium can chase it down through that lower side jungle. Meanwhile, they'll pretty just push this through the tower. That's the important part here, because Millenium, the rest of the team is just cleaning up on these fights, on these kills from the fight. And it's the objectives that are really going to win the game for them.
They've now got an 8,000 gold lead, continually extending that. As you say, objective 7 towers to 3. Those double oceans help out a lot as well when you've got a Cassio and a Caitlyn and a Shen. Just getting all of that extra regen.
Elder Drake up in 4 seconds, and you know, we're getting closer to that 6-item Caitlyn point. We've got a 4th one. Yes.
See, the thing is, right,
has come through as well.
There's an inaccuracy, in my opinion, of naming of how many item spikes we have.
Okay.
Because you say you have a 6-item spike when you have 6 items including boots, right? But then people say, oh, 4-item spike, and they don't include boots in that. So technically, he's at a 5-item spike at the moment, because he's got the boots. Because that's his 5th item.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. His 6 items is like when you sell boots for Phantom Dancer. But here comes Tabasco.
Here comes the curtain call as well. Millenium and Kinguin realizing that was a bad discussion and they want to have a fight instead. Stand United on Steel. He's going to jump in, kicks back Sebex. Pinoy gets the kill. And now Millenium turn on the Afterburners. Tabasco, however, turns on the Void Assault and turns on to Steel. He gets the kill. He gets shut down. Millenium now chasing into the base. It's a 4v2. D-Lord and Woolite need to make up for their earlier mistakes and try and defend the base. But Millenium will just zone them off. They jump in. They try to get the kill on Woolite. Can't quite do it. They do, however, get the Nexus Tower. They're going for the second one now as Millenium try and close out the game. Woolite and D-Lord fighting for their lives, but you cannot fight against Pinoy. They'll take down the Nexus and Millenium will go 1-0 up over Team Kinguin.
Good performance out from Millenium in the end, and in the beginning of the game there was that long portion of the game from both teams. Very back and forth, very stale sets of play, but eventually Millenium kind of come out ahead. A bit of a back and forth messy game from both teams, but they kind of are almost on the same level, I would say. We were talking about how they were kind of like, maybe we anticipate them being middle of the pack teams. I think that's for certain, both are middle of the pack.
I think Millenium is showing me stuff that makes me think they're quite good. But then they also played the same composition for quite a few games in a row, and I feel if you get them off that composition, or if you can find weaknesses in that composition, maybe you can catch them out. So, I mean, I was in week 1 saying Millenium were my dark horse to be one of the better teams. I don't think they've fulfilled that yet. I agree with you. Middle of the pack, 3rd or 4th at the moment, in my opinion. Yeah,
I think so too. Kinguin, on the other hand, this is a little further back to what we saw in week 1, where Tabasco just basically wasn't in the game for 20 minutes. Yeah. Finally got into a few of the team fights, but realistically, that start hurt him so much. Level 2, having to recall back to base, didn't even finish Krugs. It's a horrendous start.
Definitely not the start you want. Well, we're going to make like Jason hypercharge into the break. Game 2 between Millenium and Team Kinguin will kick off when we return. Pinoy being aggressive here, the sustain from Norscarin, Deadly Flourish comes down, the heal, exhaust, Woolite's low, but he has got that heal, Pinoy has to flash away, D-Lord flashes for the kill, one more auto would be enough, can he get it, can't quite get there, and now Woolite has to flash away, but he'll fall, Norscarin gets the kill, D-Lord looking for Pinoy, and Pinoy will say, not today, my friend, Steel comes in and gets 2 kills in the bottom lane.
Pinoy could be in trouble
He's overextended here, even with Norscarin, I'm not sure he survives, Tabasco takes him down, and now Norscarin finds him in the midst of 3, Kinguin going for the dive, going for the kill, Tabasco gets a double. Be pretty with the flank, the petrifying gaze onto all of Kinguin, and they're going to be mopped up in a heartbeat. Here come Millenium, pretty off towards the side, 1 kill already in favor of Kinguin. Ice Beasto burning through Pinoy, but Ice Beasto can't get the kill, and now Kinguin run for the hills away from Millenium. Tabasco retreating, Sebex low as well as Mimic continues the chase. They'll take down the Nexus, and Millenium will go 1-0 up over Team Kinguin.